Subscribe to my channel before we dive in. Because stories like this hit differently when you've lived long enough to understand how time bends. 7 years is plenty of time to erase a voice from memory. Yet the instant I heard hers in the quiet of the night, it felt like time had only been napping, not vanished. I was sitting alone at a small Italian restaurant downtown. Soft, muted lighting, the scent of fresh bread in the air, garlic curling like memory. Friday night, post-work, enjoying a rare evening just for myself. My phone was on silent, my jacket draped over the next chair. My mind unusually calm. Then I heard it. Laughter. Her laughter. Gentle, familiar, that exact rhythm that once filled my kitchen years ago. I froze before I even looked. I almost convinced myself it was just imagination. 7 years is enough for memories to glitch. But when I finally turned, there she was. Emily. Same posture, same unconscious gesture of tucking her hair behind her ear when she laughed. Slightly shorter hair, a different man sitting across from her, his face mostly hidden. Yet the tilt of her body, relaxed and at ease, mirrored the way she once leaned toward me. My chest tightened, not with jealousy, but with a strange realization. Someone who once mapped the blueprint of your heart now sits a stranger just a few feet away. I tried to focus on my plate, but my fork trembled. The waiter asked if I needed anything. No, I said, voice cracking. Appetite gone. Part of me wanted to leave, another part, the part that still remembers her birthday effortlessly, wanted to stay. 7 years since the divorce. 7 years since I'd last seen her. I'd imagined countless times what would happen if we crossed paths again. Would I claim I was fine? Apologize for the damage I caused? Or just pass by as if nothing happened? I didn't need to decide. She moved first. I felt her presence before she spoke. She approached my table and paused beside me. For one suspended moment, neither of us said a word. The music from the speakers filled the silence. Sinatra crooning about second chances. Daniel, she said finally, her voice steady, though her hands gripped her purse tightly. I looked up at her and, for a second, the years fell away. I was 28 again, sitting on her old couch, watching her read under a lamp. Hi, I said at last. She offered a small, guarded smile. It's really you. Last time I checked, I replied, trying to laugh off the awkward weight of all the unsaid words. How have you been? She asked. Good. Working a lot. You? She glanced at her table. I'm managing. I nodded. That counted. She shifted slightly, unsure whether to stay or go. Then she glanced at my plate and said softly, You always order the carbonara. You said it felt like comfort. I smiled. It still does. That tiny memory cracked the distance between us for just a second. The waiter refilled my water, nodding politely at her. 7 years, she whispered. Feels like another lifetime, I said. Her eyes met mine fully, revealing the faint exhaustion beneath, the same look after late-night arguments over work and small misunderstandings that eventually built walls. You look good, she said quietly. Thanks. You too. Then came the first real words beyond small talk. Daniel, I still think about what I said that night, the night you left. My throat tightened. Before I could answer, the man she'd been with approached. Everything okay, Em? He asked politely. She nodded quickly. Yeah, just saying hi to an old friend. She turned back to me. It was good seeing you. You too, I managed. She took a few steps, paused, glanced back, eyes slightly glistening. Maybe it's not too late to apologize, she whispered. Before I could respond, she returned to her table, back to her life, back to the warm candlelight. I sat there, pulse thundering, trying to make sense of her words. Apologize for what? Leaving? Staying too long? Breaking something we both couldn't fix? I didn't know yet. I would soon. I paid my bill and stepped into the night. Cool air, streets damp from an earlier drizzle. I considered walking back in, saying something real, but what would I even say? It's fine. Don't worry about it. The truth, I didn't know which part she meant. I walked to my car, memories of that night 7 years ago crashing back. It began small, as it always did. She said I cared more about work than us. I said she didn't understand pressure. She said I was cold. I called her cruel. Then, calm and final, I don't love you anymore, Daniel. I packed my bag, expecting her to stop me. She didn't. That memory once cut deepest. Time dulled it. I had built a quiet, ordinary life. Nothing dramatic. Nothing chaotic. Yet hearing her voice tonight reignited everything reduced to embers. I drove home with windows down, neon lights slipping past like ghosts. I told myself, I'll forget this by morning. But at home, silence pressed, and her words replayed, maybe it's not too late to apologize. Near midnight, I poured bourbon and sat by the window as rain returned steady. I scrolled through old messages I'd never deleted. Fragments, grocery lists, faded photos, snapshots of simpler days. Then I found the last text before the divorce papers. I hope you find peace, Daniel. Back then, I took it as a final goodbye. Sitting 7 years later, I wondered if maybe she never found peace either. I didn't call. Didn't text. Some things don't need reviving. Sleep didn't come. The next morning, I walked through the park near my home. Fog hung low, trees silent. Then I saw her again alone on a bench, holding coffee, gazing at the lake. She looked up, surprised, slightly embarrassed. You again, she murmured. I smiled. Guess we both needed air. She laughed lightly. I hadn't slept. We sat side by side in silence, ducks gliding across the water, fog drifting. Finally, she spoke. About last night. I never meant to stir anything. You didn't, I said. I lied. I just needed to apologize for how I ended things. I was angry. I thought leaving you would make me happy. It didn't. I didn't respond. Sometimes silence is the only answer. She looked at her hands. I kept telling myself you didn't care. But you did. You just didn't know how to show it. I nodded. We both messed up. Yeah, she whispered. But I think I made the biggest mistake. We lingered longer, knowing nothing was broken anymore. When she stood, she touched my shoulder lightly. Take care of yourself, Daniel. You too, Emily. She smiled, disappeared into the fog without looking back. I stayed, watching until the morning light broke through clouds, kissed the lake perfectly. For the first time in years, I felt peace. Forgiveness doesn't always arrive loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just quiet words in a park, years late but perfectly timed. That night at the restaurant, her words shook me for the pain they carried. Now I know they carried something else entirely.